Hello everyone, this is Steve with the Free Bullion Investment Guide. Today is December 7th. I'm doing a review and outlook price analysis video for silver. This is silver's daily chart. Lately I've been doing silver and gold's videos together. Last week I did. When their outlooks are the same, I put them together. When they're different, I don't, and this week they are different. Even though they're generally going in the same direction, at least as what my analysis is showing, they still have different patterns. So to quickly go over last week's video, I had shown you this falling wedge pattern for the price of silver. It is a positive pattern, and the price of silver did briefly break above it before dropping back below it. Now, why did it move in the way that it moved? Early in the week, we had Trump come out and state that he may wait until after the 2020 presidential election to strike a deal up with China. That helped the price of silver go up because no deal is good for silver and gold right now. It brings a lot of uncertainty in the market, and it just supports their safe haven status. However, on Wednesday we had some good news, which I don't really have an article on that right now, but we did have some good news come out about the trade deal, as well as on Friday we had a good non-farm payroll report, which hurt silver and gold for that matter, and made both of them drop dramatically. Actually, the payroll report came out on Friday and stated that we created 266,000 jobs, and economists were only expecting 180,000. So that helped silver fall in price and fall back below the pattern. But it did confirm it to the upside early in the week. Now, for the outlook, I am showing a larger falling wedge pattern. It is still a positive pattern, and the price of silver is expected to break above it. Now, will it break above the descending channel? We'll have to pay attention to the news, which I'll get to what to look at next week here in a second. Excuse the pop-ups there. There was one thing I wanted to go over real quick. I wanted to show you the 4-hour chart, just to show you a little bit more proof of that we should see a pop in silver as far as a bounce goes from this latest drop in price. It is clearly showing that it is in oversold territory here in the RSI. The MACD is also showing that it was a drastic move down to the downside, and we should see a pop to the upside. Now, how much of a pop? Will it pop up above this pattern? We'll have to see, but it's the only pattern that I can find in the chart patterns right now. Now, as far as what to look for fundamentally in the news next week, this is the Fed's website, the FOMC meeting calendar. They have a meeting on December 10th and 11th, which is just a few days away. It's next Tuesday and Wednesday of the coming week. And I doubt very much from the payroll report that we're going to see any kind of cut in rates. Now, clearly the Fed isn't going to raise rates because they've already started a new round of QE, and plus they're consistently putting liquidation into the repo market. So to do anything as far as raise rates would just idiotic. But they will clearly... I think they'll just keep rates the same. I would be very surprised if they lower rates. If they do lower rates, it will be definitely a positive sign for silver and gold, and we should even more so see a pop to the upside. But because of the jobs report, I will be very surprised if we get a rate cut out of the Fed. So that's one thing to pay attention to on Wednesday. Probably around 2:30 is when that news will come out, as well as another thing next week. One thing significant with next weekend is that there are tariffs that are set to be imposed on China on December 15th, which is next Sunday. And if that happens, if no deal is made this week, then the market will be looking for that to happen, and that should be a positive sign for gold and silver as well. Whereas if a trade deal comes through, it's likely that this pattern will be shattered to the downside, denied completely, and next week I will be explaining that to you. But if there is no deal, then we'll likely see a further pop out of silver and gold, whereas if we see a deal, we'll see the two precious metals drop in price, most likely. So those are some things to pay attention to in the week ahead. Also, retail sales at the end of next week is another thing that could hurt or help gold and silver, as well as the core CPI. So those few other things are something that some of you might want to also pay attention to as far as the price of silver and where it may lead next week. So that's it for this week's review and outlook for silver. I thank you for your time. Take care and God bless.